Welcome back. I'd like to start with a question. Jeremiah, you got anything for me?
Yes, a question came in from California. A listener wants to know, who sinned first, Adam or Eve?
All right. Who sinned first, Adam or Eve? Well, you know what? They both sinned, but it was basically his fault. Look, if I had to say, I would say Adam sinned first. Why? Because Eve just repeated what she had heard. She heard some talk about eating the food and that it could make them really smart and well educated and successful. And so she went to Adam and she told him what she heard. And that's actually what she was supposed to do. She went to Adam and she told him. See, she could have kept it secret and tried to manipulate everything, but no, she told him. So actually, that's not so bad. Her sin comes later. So she went to Adam and she said, "Hey, this is what I heard." She heard something from somebody else. And she brought it home and she told Adam. Now, Adam could have said, "No, we mustn't eat of that fruit because Father said we're not supposed to." And she would have held out the apple and he would have said, "No, we mustn't. Put the apple down. Father said we're not supposed to." Then it would have been over. See? But he failed her. In fact, he kind of liked those ideas. He was kind of ambitious underneath. And lo and behold, you know the rest of the story. They fell. Everything changed for the worse. And instead of paradise, they had hell on earth. Now, if Adam had love, if he had loved God, and if he had loved Eve, but you know what? He didn't know what he was getting into. He had no idea. How many people, they think, well, I'll just take this little pill. I'll take this little pain pill, or, oh, I'll just smoke this little marijuana. It seems so harmless. They have no idea what they're getting into, or maybe they sort of do, but they doubt it. See, God said, if you eat of that fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, then you're going to know yourself as God, but you're going to be separated from me and you're going to die. But they doubted it, see? So all around you see people getting messed up with drugs and all that kind of stuff. But, well, maybe I'll just take this one, you think? See? So it's the same old story. So what is the problem? With Adam and Eve, Adam didn't have love. But here comes Eve's mess up. She resented Adam. He messed up. There's no question about it. He failed her. It was his job. See, he's supposed to be the Moses of the family, the George Washington of the family. He's supposed to be the one with wisdom and understanding and love, and he failed her. And so she resented him for that. So ever since then, the woman dreams of meeting the man who will save her from her darkness, the man who will save her from her miserable family where mom and dad are fighting. Her dad wasn't there for her. And she meets a guy and she thinks maybe he's the one. And he does have some good qualities. And she thinks, well, he does have some faults too, but I can fix that. I'll make him better when he's married to me. I'll whip him into shape. And they get married or they become partners. And then the guy, look what happens to him. Well, for him, it's like hog heaven. He's getting all that he wants. He's getting all kinds of food, and she's being so nice to him, and it puffs up his ego. His ego is puffed up. And when that happens, he becomes more beastly. Isn't that what happened in the Garden of Eden? Adam and Eve fell, and they fell to a lower level, a more animal level. And sure enough, the more she does for him, the more beastly he becomes, the more animal he becomes, the more selfish and spoiled he becomes. And soon he might even think he's too good for her and then go off with some other woman. But on the other hand, she resents him. The more she does for him, the worse he gets, and she resents that. And so she tries harder. She thinks, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not trying hard. I'm not doing well enough. She tries harder and harder. And the harder she tries, the worse he gets. And not only that, but he begins to resent her. He feels like she owns him. And she begins taking over, taking charge of some things that he thinks are, his bailiwick. And then underneath, pretty soon you have seething resentment and arguing. And meanwhile, the kids suffer. The kids always suffer. All right? So the answer is what? The answer is love. When she comes with her, see, but now, let's say they're both decent, which is usually the case. He's a decent guy. She's a decent gal. All right, well, if he could begin to use her less and see her as a person, not an object of use, and if he could take the responsibility on his own shoulders and realize that he's missing something. She needs something from him, see? She always thinks, well, she tells him, well, you got to mow the grass more, you got to make more money, you got to spend more time at home, you got to take the kids here and there more, you got to dress nicer, you got to get more education, you got to get a promotion. She's always thinking that something, we got to get a bigger house, a better car, see? But it's only a compensation for what's lacking. What is lacking is that he is missing something that she needs. And what does she need? She needs him to have love, a fatherly love, an agape love, and yes, a corrective love. So when she comes with her resentment toward him and gives him a hard time, he doesn't resent her. See? When she does something naughty, or she is notional, or she listens more to her friends than to what he says, he doesn't hate her. He has wisdom, he has understanding, he has patience, he has long suffering, he has love. And where does that love come from? It comes from God. So Adam sinned and became separated from God. But you, gentlemen, were born separated from God. So you didn't make the original choice. So you still have a choice. And your choice will come when your family's suffering, your kids suffering, your wife suffering, makes you cry out to your Creator and say, what am I missing? She needs something, my kids need something, and I don't have it. And you cry out to your Creator, and He answers. And when you find a bond with your Creator, then the love will come through you. It's not your love, it's His love. The patience, the understanding, because you have love from Him. You understand? When you're patient with other people, then you can also be patient with yourself. Do you understand? So don't resent your wife. That's the first thing. Don't resent her. Be there for her. And if she's angry at you, she probably has a good reason to be angry. Now you understand why. Yeah, maybe you did this and that, but it's deeper than that. See, just bringing her flowers or bringing her candy or taking her on vacation, that's not the answer. The answer is you've got to find something inside that you don't have right now, and it comes from God. So you have to find a relationship with your Creator, and then you can take her hand and lead her to paradise. And ladies, don't resent your husband if he's a decent guy. And most guys are decent. Of course, if he's an angry, violent drug user or something, then you're better off without him. I'm not talking about that kind of a guy. I'm talking about most guys are decent. And so if your husband is decent, don't resent him and watch out for judgment. Men are so easy to judge. Sometimes they're kind of dumb. They're kind of like kids. They kind of are selfish. They're so easy to judge and to feel superior to him. Watch out for that, because when you judge him and puff up like a cobra and feel superior, then the dark side becomes more active in you. See? And it torments him and it also torments you. So you have to let go of the judgment. Watch for it and let it pass. Watch for the resentment. Let it pass. You understand? All right. Now, I was planning to read from my book. I've written a couple of books about, actually 3, actually 4. The one I recommend is The Myths and Mysteries of Marriage. It is a page-turner. If you like what you just heard, you got to get this book, The Myths and Mysteries of Marriage. You're very, very hard to find anything this good anywhere. And I also have another book called Putting the Forever Back in Love. They're both good. They're on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, you'll find them. But now you understand? You men, love your wives. Don't resent her. And you wives, don't judge your husband. Okay, if he messes up a little bit, then see that he messed up. But don't resent him for it. Don't hate him for it. Don't judge him for it. You see, take the pinch of resentment out of it. Take the pinch of judgment out of it. See? And don't try to change him. See, you're playing God. A lot of women want to replace God with themselves. They want worship from their husband. They want worship from their kids. And yeah, if you manage to do that, then what does that mean? It means that he's separated from God. It's not good. Now, ultimately, he has to find himself. You cannot make a man into a man. He has to become a man himself. If he doesn't, if he never finds himself, then don't hate him. Don't resent him. Okay? But if he does, it's beautiful. Okay? And make sure you're not giving him too hard of a time. If you're always giving him a hard time, it's very hard for him to find himself. Okay? My name is Roland.